Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katrina and this is Katrina Reads. I'm back again with a Tag Tuesday tag. This one is called the reading medium tag. It seems a little fun and I can do it off the cuff without doing a whole bunch of, research. I'm finding it from Lock and Reads book reviews, but the Bookish Sock, Victorian at the Bookish Sock, created this tag. So question 1, what constitutes as reading for you and why? Reading is reading. Whether you are listening to an audiobook, whether your mom is reading you a book, whether you are holding a physical book, an ebook, whether you are running your fingers across Braille, whether you are reading a newspaper every morning or articles that you compile through Twitter every day and kind of, save to read later, you are reading. What are the pros and cons of audiobooks for you? Well, the pros are someone else is reading for you. You can get other stuff done. It's my favorite form of reading, so I don't see very many cons. But I guess one of the cons is it's difficult to do deep reading with audiobooks. So when I am doing important reading, like on race or religion or the like, I'm trying to educate myself. Like right now, I am really trying to educate myself on the ideas about police and prison abolishment. I can listen to those, but it's harder for me to kind of hold on to some of the deeper concepts. So I listen to a more surface level book about the end of policing, and I was able to absorb all of that. But now that I feel like I've graduated to a place where I now need to start really investigating, deep philosophy on what that means, I need to physically read. I also felt like I needed to physically read Felix Ever After, because I have a non-binary child and I wanted to mark the book up. And I know you can put notes and I know you can highlight in your audiobook, but there's something different about writing, and I think it engages a different part of your brain. And once I annotated and wrote everything in the book, I was able to send it to them. And once they finished reading it, we were able to have a conversation about it. You can't do that with audiobooks. What are the pros and cons of ebooks for you? Probably the same thing as audiobooks, where, well, the pros are you can have 50 million ebooks and they're not overwhelming your house. Whenever I move and I have to move books, I curse the books. Those are the heaviest things that we have to move, and they're the most boxes, because I don't get rid of the books necessarily, because I really don't buy books that I'm not going to keep for a specific reason. So I can get rid of all the toys and clothes and things as possible. But books, we're keeping them all and they're heavy. But ebooks, like right now, I have about 5,000. I have over 5,000 books in my Kindle Cloud. If I have 5,000 books in my very small house, I think our house would collapse. So that's a pro. The con is the same as the audiobook. It doesn't lend itself to highlighting, even though there is a highlighting and notes section. It doesn't lend itself to the very visceral tabbing, highlighting, writing notes going back and researching that stuff that more in-depth academic reading needs. And then if you want to share that, I don't know, maybe there's a way to do it, but I don't know how to share that. If I have a book that I've annotated and I have lots of notes and I've written things in it and I want to share my thoughts, I can just give the person the book, and I've annotated everything, and there's notes in the margins, and I even put sticky notes in there. There's sticky notes and stuff in some of my books. So I can't see the sharing of knowledge with ebooks as easy as I can with the physical book. Provided you read physical books, do you prefer hardbacks or paperbacks, or why? I think paperbacks for the kids, and it depends on, for me, I don't know if I have a preference. I don't know. And I do see people on BookTube talk about how they like floppy paperback versus other types of paperback, and I don't know. I don't think I have a preference. Provided you read ebooks, what devices do you use? I use phone and Kindle. My phone is really easy to read books. I read all of my kids' books to them off of Scribd. We really use that. Scribd is really a good library for the kids. And a lot of their books have colorful illustrations, especially my 7-year-olds. And even if they didn't, I don't think Scribd, I haven't tried, but I don't think Scribd is compatible with Kindle. And so I just pull out my phone to do those books. But when I'm reading a Kindle book, and it's gonna, I'm gonna read it for a long time, my phone is kind of heavy and kind of awkward. I don't know. And even when I've put pop sockets on it, it doesn't work the same. I put 2 pop sockets on my Kindle, and it works so much better, and it's so much more comfortable and light. So I use both equally. For myself, the Kindle. For my kids, I use the phone. Number 7 is, how do you think digital books have affected both the publishing industry and readers? I would assume it would be better, because ebooks lends itself to impulse buying so much better. It is so much more convenient for the reader to just browse and add a book to their device. I think the industry is going to adapt and change and flourish, flourish if they continue to adapt, as they always have. I think digital books just adds to it. There will be people who only go to ebooks after a while. There'll be people like me who prefer audiobooks, but at the same time, there's always going to be people who appreciate physical books and want to read them only. So I don't know. I think it's just going to expand. I think it's just going to expand it. It's going to add people into, I would imagine it would add people who, into the fold of reading. And I think as we continue to be a little bit more cognizant of the environment and, the trees that we use for books, in passing, I remember kind of hearing about there being a tree shortage when Obama's book was being printed, and nobody who was on the ebook train had a problem with that, and the audiobook train had a problem with getting a hold of the book. I don't know. I think it just adds to it, all that long way around to it. I think digital books really just are a plus to readers and the industry. Number 8, for my people with disabilities or those who have insider knowledge, do you feel like digital books are inclusive? If you say no, do you have suggestions on how they could be more inclusive? The only thing that I can say is that the dyslexic print, the dyslexic version of the font in Kindle helps me immensely. That's the only thing that I can attest to. I would only be guessing, and it's not my place to guess for anybody else. I just know that the dyslexic print helps and makes reading so much better for my daughter, and she despairs when I have to go back to Scribd because they don't have that same font. But right now we're reading Holopogs, and that's in Kindle, and there's no flipping around of the book, the words for me and things like that. So that's the only thing that I can say when it comes to, all I can say is that other apps that are going to provide ebooks such as Scribd need to get on it with dyslexic fonts. That's all I can say. Oh, and I would say that Kindle, now, you know, like I said, I did not know that Kindle could be read through Alexa, but I would say stop trying to overcharge people for needing to hear a book. People, you know, I process things differently, and so having to read, you know, Netflix doesn't charge me for having to turn on the CC to process what I'm watching, and so I feel like Kindle shouldn't add another $7.40 on top of that so that I can hear what I'm reading. I think that's an accessibility issue, but other than that, I don't have any suggestions. If you could pick only 2 mediums to read for the rest of your life, which 2 would you choose and why? Oh my God. Audio book, ebook, hardback, or paperback? Audio book is number 1. But like I said, ebook, you can have forever books. Like you can have, like if I were on an island, I would never run out of books. If I prepared, I could have forever, ever books. And I could make sure that I could read them properly if I had a Kindle, because like I said, the dyslexic font is on there. And I would just have to do that, because I would just have to figure out a way to make sure my notes and my underlines are, I would just have to take the time to do the notes and the underlining and make use of it. Like right now, I don't have to, because I have paper and pen and I like stationery, and it gives me an excuse to shop. So I can say, oh, I'm reading a very important book. I need me some more tabs. I need me a nice pen. I need another journal. But if I'm stuck with only 2 mediums, audiobook and ebook would be the thing for me. Okay, that's the end of this tag. Thank you so much for watching. Anyone who wants to watch, anyone who wants to participate in this tag can. Let's end this book. Let's end this video with a pen, just because we were talking about stationery at the end, and I've used the book emoji so many times. Thank you so much for liking this channel and subscribing and ringing that bell. It supports me and gets my videos in front of other eyes. Be easy on yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.